Here's another hot take I have. Oh, I'm not even gonna try to thread the needle on this one.
He loved how hot Sarah looked in her posts before they got together. So this is a bunch of
I also hate, I will say this, and I hate therapists that do this. If you're a therapist and you always take the side of your patient and you shouldn't other people in your life, you should kill. Okay, this is the thread. I'm only gonna make it like 30 minutes into this discourse and then my whole stream is getting shut down because you guys are gonna trigger me so fucking hard, okay? All right, ready? Sharing this publicly now because keeping it to myself was causing more damage to my mental health than sharing it ever could do. Leaking texts from Jonah Hill. Plain and simple, if you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, to post sexual pictures, friendships with women who are unstable, who are in unstable places, and from your wild recent past beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful, I am not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it, and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for a romantic partnership, my boundaries with you based on the ways these actions have hurt our trust. I think there are three important questions we need to keep in mind here, and I understand that for you guys, they all have to be yes or they all have to be no, but the reality is there could be different answers for each of these. So the first question is are these abusive? That's question number one. Probably one of the most important questions. Number two is this manipulative or reasonable? And then number three is, should it have been shared publicly? When I look at these boundaries, so personally, surfing with men, I don't think you should care about that much.
I
could see how some people might get irritated, but I don't know. Boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men. Well, now for this, we really need more context on what he's talking about. What does boundaryless, inappropriate friendships mean? To model, I don't know what that means either. Is she just taking random sexy pictures to post on Instagram, or is this like a job for her? To post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit. Personally, I think it's kind of weak. I don't know why you would care if somebody posts pictures of a bathing suit. To post sexual pictures, I mean, it depends on what he means by that. Does he mean just bikini pictures? Friendships with women who are in unstable places and from your wild recent past beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful. So it sounds to me like his approach is like uber traditional in how he wants his relationship to be set up, which is fine. I don't think there's anything here that is completely f***ing wild. Also, I'm not going to be able to do this. I already know I'm not going to be able to get through this because there's so much dumb shit that people think. So I'll just address a couple really stupid points I keep bringing up over and over again. Desi being a TC again. She has clothing sponsorships and is a pro surfer that has to promote her events. So number one, surfers, from what I've seen, and believe it or not, I did watch a little bit of surfing a long time ago because I had a friend that was into it, and I got a brief interest after joining Autonomy. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. We can go and actually look, I guess. My understanding is you don't actually generally like pro surf in bikinis. Am I wrong? Surfing contest women. Like, I know that these are going to be the stories, but I'm pretty sure that when you're actually surfing professionally, people are saying wetsuit. I don't think you wear a full wetsuit.
Win.
A little metal needle in the haystack.
But I think this is more often what you see.
Find that way.
People acting like you, like, oh, well, no, she's a pro surfer, so she has to wear, like, her ass needs to be gobbling up the thinnest G-string. That's not probably true. I don't think that's true. Maybe there are some pro surf competitions and I just don't know any of them, which is also possible. I'm sure for like a lot of the sexy stories, you're getting stuff like this. But if you're like a quote unquote like pro surfer, like surfing professionally, I don't think they're generally wearing like bikinis, okay? Number one. So people that are like, oh, you, okay. Number two, when people say clothing sponsorships, I'm really curious what that was. Because I took a gander through her Instagram. She only has like 80,000 followers. Is she really like getting sponsors for clothes and stuff? Or are they just like sending her some free clothes and saying, take pictures of them and you can keep these for free? But yeah, I think those two arguments are dog shit arguments. But whatever. I guess like the biggest thing here is he laid these out, and it seems like he's saying that, you know, if you want to do this, be happy, that's fine. No hard feelings, but these are the advantages of my relationship. Even if I think these restrictions are a little bit silly, but again, I'm literally in an open relationship. I think these are silly, but I mean, like, I don't know how. Oh, I was going to ask that too, Will's Kills. Oh, actually, we should just go look it up. No, you're absolutely right.
Why he wins.
Sarah H. Brady, Instagram. Oh, and all of her captions are cringe as fuck now. Like, if you click almost any of her pictures, reviving a pic I took down by request of a narcissistic misogynist. Like, bro, really? Yep. Like, kind of unbelievable that a man who sent me shit like this would be upset I didn't read his mind and take down pics of that once I was in a relationship with him. Okay, here's another thing. I argued with Far about this. I told her we're never talking about this on stream because I think I'm gonna get really nasty, okay? Again, I've heard this argument. He liked her sexy pics when he got together with her, so why would he ever want her to take them down? He should know that's who she is. The fact that if somebody thinks that this type of behavior is how somebody acts when they're single, and they see shit and they think it's hot and they DM you, but they would expect you to act differently in your relationship, that's not really that out of character. That's not even that weird. That's not even that crazy of a take. They're like, oh, I saw you posting some wild, crazy, sexy pics. I DM'd you because they were hot as fuck. But now that we're dating, I don't really want to, I hope you don't post stuff like that, right? That's not even that crazy. Gaslight much? Even the person I love to share to bed with uses me and can't just be like, yeah, you were super nice. I hurt so badly, but I'm done apologizing. I was so lovely to you. She being our couples therapist at the time. She had me agree to paddle away from any man that approached me in the water, no matter his age. I was instructed to say, I'm going to go talk to my boyfriend and then paddle away. That makes me want to go stab someone. Wow, who's this therapist? Hello, what? She was like enabling his possessiveness, isolation, and jealous. Wow. Here's another hot take I have. Oh, I'm not even going to try to thread the needle on this one. Hold on. Shit. Oh. Hold on. I'm so sorry. Oh, shit. My inner misogynist. I can feel it. I feel it coming out. Hold on. Okay. I think I'm... Okay. Okay. Sorry. Oh, okay. I almost hated women for a second there. I think that it is possible, men and women can do this, okay? Saved it. I think it's possible to weaponize therapists. Now, here's just something I'll say. It's a possibility, and none of us know. It's a possibility none of us know. It could be that the therapist is actually some insane woman that hates other women and is a huge pick-me and was just being abusive to this poor lady and was like, if any man goes up to you, you better swim away from him and go talk to his boyfriend. That could be the case. Or it could be the case that she has naturally a really flirty personality. I do. I understand what it feels like, okay? She could have a naturally really flirty personality, and maybe she flirts with a lot of guys, and when Jonah expressed discomfort at this, the therapist said, well, hey, and Sarah was like, yeah, I can't help it, it's just something I do. Maybe the therapist was like, well, hey, listen, if a cute guy comes up to you and wants to chat, maybe to say like, hey, listen, like, I'm not interested, and like paddle away. And this is how she's phrasing it. Maybe, but we don't know. It's possible, who knows? But we don't know one way or another, okay? But I will say, we're getting her summary of the therapist where she's bitching to her friend about her relationship. So it's a little bit like suspect, okay? We don't know 100% what's actually going on here, okay? Just anyway, so there's a conversation between her and her friend. She was like enabling his possessiveness, isolation, and jealous. Yes. That must have made you feel crazy having a licensed professional tell you to not talk to other men to keep your boyfriend from not acting like a baby. She instructed us to come up with a safe word for when Jonah was yelling at me. That is some it was pineapple. Okay, again, there's literally nothing wrong with this. Me and Melina have this to where like if one of us is too heated, there's like, listen, just tell the other partner this conversation is like out of control. Say something, chill out, reconvene, like an hour later. There's literally nothing wrong with having a word where it's like, listen, it could be a safe word, it could be a phrase, but whatever, where it's like, listen, that we're both heated right now. Like, obviously we love each other. Can we like come back in 2 hours and have this conversation? There's nothing on its face. There's nothing wrong with this for having like this type of strategy for conflict resolution. icky to see how I took blame for him. Oh, there are some DMs from her to him. Sorry I said that. I had a couple beers and I'm just upset, feeling like we can't do surf social things without an uncomfortable situation arising that usually feels like my fault somehow. I feel you pull away and then the feeling of being defective creeps in. I think I'm not socially intelligent enough to meet your needs as a partner, and then I get frustrated and angry at myself and just want you to rip the band-aid off if I'm not good enough for you. In moments of conflict, my brain thinks you want to dump me because I'm not good enough for you and you're the GOAT and you can do better and you will immediately once you end things with me. You're right, we can't do surf social things or develop trust until you consider me and make decisions that give regard to our... Again, if you're being fair and honest, it's hard to read, like, you just need more context for some of these statements. Like, you could read her statement here as being incredibly manipulative. So when she's saying that, like, oh, well, I had beers and that's the only reason why, and then she's like trying to gaslight him in terms of like, well, I think you're going to leave me, blah, blah, or not gaslight, but like manipulate him that way. Or it could also be that she's actually genuinely been worn down by somebody that's like being really, I won't say abusive or manipulative, but somebody's being an asshole where she feels like it's her fault all the time and it's her problem. And he's always like shitting on her and she's like, I don't think I'm good enough. He's like, right. It literally could be either way. But I don't have enough context to know, right? This could be her being horrible, it could be him being horrible, or it could just be a talk in a relationship. You literally have no idea. It's hard when we only have like a few messages to evaluate, but... How long ago did this breakup happen? It looks like a few years ago. Why release it now? Somebody said, did she just get pregnant? Jonah Hill's girlfriend? I don't know why she's releasing it now, but this is 2 years later, so who knows? Her social blade. Oh, so she did have 72,000 followers beforehand. Okay, so it wasn't just like nothing. Number one, boyfriend. Literally just say hello and leave the convo. I love how your therapist thinks I suck. I literally am the best boyfriend on earth. Oh, so literally both of them think the therapist. Okay, well in that case, it might actually be a good therapist. Maybe. If both of them think the therapist is saying things they don't want to hear, then the therapist is trying. I mean, realistically, the therapist should probably be making both of them feel not like the therapist hates them, but so apparently both of them think the therapist is doing mean things or whatever, but might be two different therapists. It could be two different therapists as well. They could have a couples counselor and they could have her individual therapist. It's possible. Yeah. You're right. We can't do surf social things or develop. Oh, this was in response to the last message. I don't know why we're getting this so much later, but you're right. We can't do surf social things or develop trust until you consider me and make decisions that give regard to a relationship. I've been vulnerable as possible, and I'm telling you I'm needing you to step to the plate, which you can, I'm sure of it. But these losers don't get your time if you want me. Straight up, it's consideration. I respect your love of surfing, but I respect myself as well. And your love of surfing and being in those situations and lack of awareness are not mutually exclusive. This isn't me. I have my own issues that I own. If you want marriage and family, you can't use the 25 card. Step up and cut shit. These people don't get your time or your kindness at the sacrifice of minds. Something that I wonder here is I wonder if he's referring to like specific situations, like have things come up that have made him feel bad, or is he just like doesn't like her doing any of this at all? Again, need more context. Hard to say otherwise, but by these people he meant any friends of mine that he hadn't personally approved of. Wait, how old is Jonah Hill? He's 39. She's 25. I wonder if were they like trying for a family or something, or oh no, he would have been 37 and she would have been 25. When he says you can't use the 25 card, I wonder what he's referring to there. If they've had a fight where she's like, I'm only 25. I don't know. Maybe, who knows? You make me sick. That makes me feel like you're testing me to see if you should keep me around or dump me because there's something wrong with me, like I'm a nerdy, dorky, unaware, naive idiot socially. I hear you. Those are your words, not mine. Okay. This is a warning to all girls. If your partner is talking to you like this, make an exit plan. Good start. You don't seem to get it, but it's not my place to teach you. I made my boundaries clear. You refuse to let go of some of them, and you've made that clear, and I hope it makes you happy. Okay. Respect however you want to live your life. You only get one. Sort of done with explaining myself. 3, remove, not the video yet. It is my best surfing video. Would you feel better if the cover frame was different? Any more specific ones that bother you? Yeah, one that isn't of your ass in a thong. Not a thong, but K. As far as other pictures, you in a bathing suit, surfing or not. Not a thong, okay, I'm done. There's tons I was going back the past month. It seems like he really doesn't want his girlfriend. Dating a surfer girl and then getting really upset about her being in bikini is just really retarded. But I also don't know why she's dating him either, but I'm so curious what the combos in the beginning of their relationship looked like. I'm just over-explaining myself. Screenshots of surf pics on my Insta feed. I wonder why she edited this out. It's just constant and doesn't reflect where we're at or where you say you want to be. I respect your skill in your surfing. I respect how you want to present yourself. I respect that you're hot and beautiful, and I respect however you want to live, but I also respect myself and what I'm interested in my own life and what I let into my heart and inner circle. So celebrate yourself and your life however you please and shine bright, but I don't want to have to deal something. I don't understand. Like, if this is how he feels, then you should just say like, hey, okay, cool, like we're probably just not compatible. And then you're done. Like, how easy is that? It's super sus to hide the pictures when she proudly puts back picture narcissist wants me to take down. Yeah, I'm really curious what the picture was. I did this all in the name of protecting him from crippling anxiety. Understood. I don't need or want surfing with men without you there unless they are trusted close friends. Boundaryless inappropriate friendships with men to model. To post pictures of myself in a bathing suit for the next year unless it's tasteful. Photo you pre-approved. To post sexual pictures, friendships with unstable... Like, she's agreeing to all of his boundaries here. Why would she do this? Why not just say like, okay, listen, I don't want to do this relationship. Why would she agree? Why would she agree to this? Take some accountability and operate with respect. It's that simple. Be worthy of being a wife. I'm just kidding. Because I'm tired of your attitude towards surf culture, that contest, and that place, because I deserve respect, period. I've been more than patient, and then shit like this is still here. That contest, that place, and not respecting me always in every situation within surf culture, or you don't get it, and you don't get me. It's hurtful and unacceptable. Get it. I don't know if you get it or care or give a shit about that shit more than me, even after Dr. Stern has said it loud and clear. Dr. Stern is a couples therapist we were seeing once a week for about 4 months. Okay, so probably different than her therapist, I'm guessing. I agree to everything you said, except I'm not comfortable with you posting. Let me know. We'll respect you either way, but those are my boundaries. Thanks. I'd love to know before the premiere, so I'm not putting in the position of publicly flaunting our love if my boundaries are going to be blah, blah, blah. That would be hurtful and triggering to me. Dump him. I would not date any of these people. People who value their internet presence over their relationship is not where I am in life, and it's fine that's where you're at life. Wish you the best with it. Please stop sending me this stuff. Thanks. Life will present real problems. These are unnecessary ones. If we want to say that some of the boundaries are unreasonable, I guess, although it's hard to say, like what an unreasonable boundary is if they're presented as is, and it's like, listen, like here's a boundary, take it or leave it, because it's not like he's like forcing her to stay in the relationship. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like at the end of the day, she could be like, yeah, I don't want to date this guy because he's like a little bit too controlling for me, which is totally fine. I just don't know why you would blow this up so much publicly. It seems so cringe. Like, there's nothing here, at the very least, you'll be able to agree, nothing here is even remotely on the level of like, this needs to be exposed. I see this guy and I can automatically tell I'm gonna hate every single thing he has to say. I don't know why, what it is. Okay, let's go.
Jonah Hill was using therapy speak to control his girlfriend Sarah, his now ex-girlfriend, and it's important that we go over this misuse of therapy language, which is kind of a thing these days, and how it can be super problematic as it masks controlling behavior under a commonly accepted positive concept, in this case, boundaries.
Okay, I agree with everything so far. That is possible. Sure, you can weaponize therapeutic language in order to exercise control over people. That is true.
Making it harder for the person on the receiving end, Sarah, to challenge it. Okay, so Jonah is basically telling his professional surfer girlfriend, I am not going to be with you if you surf with men, have boundaryless friendships with men, model, post pictures in a bathing suit, or post suggestive pictures, and are friends with women who are in unstable places. He goes on to say that these are my boundaries for a romantic relationship. Jonah's use of the term boundaries in this message is a misuse of the concept. A boundary is a healthy limit a person sets for themselves to protect their well-being and integrity. It is a rule or guideline that one creates to identify reasonable, safe, and permissible ways for others to behave towards them and how they'll respond when someone passes those limits. However, in the message Jonah sent to Sarah, he is not setting boundaries that protect his emotional well-being.
Okay, I fully admit I'm not a therapist. Maybe therapists have another word for this that I've never heard of in my entire life, but boundaries can absolutely extend to behavior that your partner exhibits that doesn't involve you. For instance, most people have the boundary that their partner is not allowed to f another person. I'm pretty sure we would call that a boundary. This is a boundary of a relationship. Boundaries are typically things drawn around certain behaviors that I don't want you to exhibit. That's why it's a boundary. Don't behave in that way. Somebody else or cheating on somebody would be considered violating a boundary, but that's controlling another person's behavior. All boundaries by definition are to some extent controlling, right? Because you're trying to tell a person what they can't do, right? And these boundaries would indeed protect your emotional well-being, right?
Instead, he is dictating what behaviors and friendships Sarah is permitted to have. He's essentially instructing Sarah on who she can be friends with, what she can do professionally, and how she can show up online.
Okay. I hate therapists. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. None of these things are bad on their face. You need more context. For instance, let's say that you're dating a guy, and let's say that he's overcome a really severe drug habit. Okay. I'm pretty sure one of the biggest predictors of relapsing into drug habits is maintaining friendships with people that still do those drugs. It would be totally fair for a person to say, listen, we can continue to date if you want, or be married, or have a family, whatever. I'm not going to be friends with you if you continue to hang around Frank, who's still an alcoholic. I can't do that. I can't have you putting yourself in those situations. That would be a totally fair statement to make. So there could also be friends that exhibit wild or disrespectful behavior towards a relationship or towards themselves. Listen, I don't want you to go out with Becky. Every time she goes out, she gets blackout drunk and railed by 7 different strippers, right? It's totally fair to say, like, I'm uncomfortable with you maintaining those friendships. Or friendships with people of the opposite sex who are disrespectful towards your relationship. All of these things are fair. I don't like it when therapists see something and they have an ideological bias or side, and they are very quick to come out and say, like, oh, this is always manipulative. This is always abusive. That's not true. You don't know that. There are times when setting these boundaries can be reasonable, and on the other side, there are times when these boundaries can be unreasonable, right? Which is totally fair as well. There are definitely times when some of the boundaries people are setting are too much, right? Where somebody's trying to cut you off from friends or family, or cut you off from external support to make you overly reliant on them so they can abuse you. That's true too. But like, you don't know this without more information.
Be friends with, what she can do professionally, and how she can show up online.
How you can show up online, again, that's a totally fair thing to feel controlling about your partner about, right? That's totally fair. If you're in a relationship with somebody, then arguably both of you guys are representing each other on social media. Let's say that you've got like a child, and let's say that like the dad or the mom is like posting pictures on Instagram of them doing like fucking cocaine or some shit. You can say, like, listen, we've got a kid, they're watching, like, this is not cool, don't do that, right? You could theoretically have these boundaries. There's nothing, again.
This is not an example of healthy boundary setting.
You need to talk about why the boundary is unhealthy. You can't make broad, sweeping overgeneralizations like this unless you're just looking for brownie points online. You need more information.
Online. This is not an example of healthy boundary setting. Instead, it reflects an attempt at control. It demonstrates a lack of respect for Sarah's autonomy.
Where's Ayla? Okay, again, all boundaries are a violation of another person's autonomy and individuality, and they're controlling. Again, that's what a boundary is. By definition, a boundary is you telling your partner that they can't do something that they might otherwise do. That is the whole point of a boundary. Boundaries are worthless if they don't violate your partner's autonomy or individuality to some extent. Now, again, there can be good boundaries and there can be really bad boundaries, but that's the whole point of a boundary. If the partner wouldn't do it anyway, then it's not a boundary. You wouldn't say anything. There's no point to it.
And individuality. Jonah's message is more about restricting Sarah's behavior to suit his comfort levels and insecurities.
Yeah, I wonder if this guy, if you posted, oh, I'm gonna do a reverse the roles. Oh, my inner misogyny, hold on. I'm gonna do a reverse the roles here. I feel like if a girl said something, here's something that I wouldn't like this, but I think it's totally reasonable, okay? I think it's totally reasonable. Let's say that you've got a guy, and let's say that he used to hook up with a girl and dated her for 2 or 3 years in college. Now you're both 26 and you meet the guy and you guys start to hook up and then you start to date, but he's still really close to that other friend. Maybe he goes over her house sometimes after work to have a drink or watch a movie or whatever. And at some point you're like, listen, you're really close to this person and you used to hook up with them and dated in college. I'm not really comfortable with that friendship being as close as it is. You can make an argument that to some extent this stems from insecurities and your comfort level, but like, is that a bad boundary? Not necessarily. That's not necessarily a bad boundary. Like, that's an understandable boundary to have. Again, a lot of boundaries come from comfort levels and insecurities, everything too.
And insecurities, rather than expressing his feelings or needs in a healthy manner. A healthier and less manipulative approach might be for Jonah to express how Sarah's actions make him feel without using ultimatums about what she should or should not do. Side note, I bet he loved how hot Sarah looked in her posts before they got together. So this is a bunch of bullshit. Anyway.
I will say this, and I hate therapists that do this. If you're a therapist and you always take the side of your patient and you shun other people in your life, you should right now, okay? Never, ever, ever do therapy. You make the world a worse place. You make it worse for your patients. You make it worse for everybody in their lives. Your life probably sucks. That is the worst type of person ever. Especially because you're only getting one side of the story. Especially because you're a therapist, right? Don't they make you watch House or whatever? Everybody lies. Like, why the do you believe one person's account of any particular version of events? Like, do you not have friends? Have you never talked to another human being in your life? Do you not manage interpersonal relationships when you see that one side will lie about the other side or misrepresent things? Like, this and again, this goes back to the one argument. This is like saying like, oh, I met this girl and we hooked up and I love that she like immediately and that was cool and awesome. And then after you start dating, like, listen, you can't hook up with people anymore. Oh, well, you sure did like when she engaged with casual sex with you on the first date, and now you're upset if she like. Yeah, obviously, once you're dating, you probably have a different expectations for a person's behavior versus before then. That's like, I mean, like, that's not the most unreasonable thing in the world. Jesus. Like, yeah, you knew I had a Tinder account when you first dated me. You should have loved that Tinder account, but I don't know, dumb.
Before they got together. So this is a bunch of bullshit. Anyway, Jonah needs to consider Sarah's needs and feelings and not just focus on his own, which it seems like he's selfishly doing.
I will also say this, and this is, I'll admit, this is a hard thing to figure out, but like, when somebody constantly tells you that you're being selfish, when somebody is constantly telling you that you're not allowed to have boundaries or anything, to some extent, it could be that you are being selfish and you are being manipulative, or ironically enough, well, 180 from the beginning of this video, or 360, I guess, because now we've come full circle, that can be you weaponizing therapist terms to try to gaslight your partner into thinking they're being unreasonable. It could be the case that you're saying things like, I don't like it when you talk to your family, I don't like when you talk to your friends, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, hey, listen, I feel like you're cutting me off from everybody, that's not fair. Or it could be that your partner is genuinely up to some shit and they're up to a whole bunch of no good. And then when you're like, listen, this makes me really uncomfortable. And then they're like, oh, really? It makes you uncomfortable? So I'm supposed to live my life based on your personal comfort level? I'm supposed to live my life based on how you want to control me? And like, that's actually being manipulative and abusive. And it's the weaponization of therapist language. Therapist language should have been locked in a box and only brought out like in therapy, because the fact that everybody uses these words now is like the worst thing in the world.
Last thing, Jonah Hill made a lovely documentary about therapy, and it's a shame to see him weaponizing what he learned.
What?
Lovely.
Again, you don't, yeah, this guy, ugh.